Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the Lazy Redhead. And if you don't know, so we're going out and about today, as you might have established by the title, whatever that is, because I haven't really thought about it just yet. But I did have a very clear vision at the beginning of the week, and as the week has gone on, you know, things have progressed vis-a-vis the house, which is a great thing, but it has meant that I've had to scale down the concept of this week's video. But I will give you a little taster-rooney, and I will be progressing with this idea, but I'm going to be splitting it into several sections, one of which might have something to do with the Patreon gathering. I'm going to do a Patreon gathering this Sunday. Oh, body malfunction slightly there. This Sunday we are having our first face-to-face on Google Meet. I am so excited. So this week, right, innocent beach walk that turns murderous. Not literally in front of me, that would be traumatizing and be way too expensive and therapy bills. No, I'm gonna run through the timeline of events, right? Beach walk. Looking at seaweed because one got cold. Well, actually, right, this is what happened. The sun was out. I thought, we're gonna do an out and about. Your Plein airbag is sat there waiting to be reconfigured. Take a perusal. As I was sat there, having done not very much, I saw fog coming in quite rapidly, and it started to drop in temperature, so much so that I couldn't feel the ends of my fingertips, right? So beach walk, got cold, clag came in, right? Looking at seaweed, which you'll see, thinking about artists that work with seaweed because there was some really interesting shapes, colours, textures, and I thought, how can I work with seaweed that isn't in a crafty way? I love craft, that is not a dig, but I am a fine artist by trade, so that's always something I consider because that's how much I love craft. Do you see what I mean? The fine line. Anyway, tangent, back to the timeline of events. Thinking about artists, so I stumbled upon Georgie O'Keeffe, Clement Nice Swift, William Morris's patterns, and another well-known name for me, Mark Dion. He's a conceptual artist, very installational, very immersive, and is big on history and a totes maximalist. That's what he is in a nutshell. I studied him at art school when I was studying museology and taxonomization.
That's a big one.
Don't worry, the end is coming. We're halfway down the page. Then I started to look into his work, and I found an exhibition called In Pictures, which explores the explores the starring role seaweed plays in classic works of art and design from an ecological point of view as well, by the way. 19th century history of collecting seaweed. Then I went on with a collaboration between Mark Dion and graphic studios called Herbium about a guy that was murdered in the 1840s. There was a war. The name of the war is here. Stephanie did tell me how to say the name, but my brain will not remember that. It was the end of that particular second war. It was the end of that, but he was on an island called Indian Keys, and he was collecting specimens, seaweed specimens, and planting them. He was there for 2 years, and he had planned to settle there with his family long term. One fateful evening, a group of these people had stormed the island, taking back what they thought was rightfully theirs. That evening he met his fate. His family did, however, get away. I don't want to leave that too long because it can be quite sorrowing. Here I've got a shopping list: fine sieve, small stock pot, gum arabic, funnel, and a whisk or two. So basically there's a down low of what I had planned for this week. It was wrapped up in a did you know that wasn't planned, but I found it somewhat interesting that a beach walk did in fact turn to me reading about a war that I didn't know existed and a guy who was murdered who was paramount to the existence of several specimens of seaweed. That's what happened this week in a nutshell. Remember at the beginning where I said I got really, really cold? Well, to admit the cold, but also get footage, I did go along the shoreline as I was heading very briskly to the cafe.
To have lunch poos and to warm up my hands.
I had taken footage of seaweed and different bits and bobs, and also you get like shots of the seaside with the cloud coming in, which I thought was absolutely beautiful with the sun. Anyway, you'll see. Feel free to take stills of that footage and respond to. That's what I'm going to be doing at the end of this video, which is where I'll also do a bit of a did you know situation and break down some of the very interesting steps that I've just reeled off for you. We need to do a plein air bag, then we're going to go to the beach, then I'm going to get cold, then we're going to do a seaweed situation, and then I'll meet you back in the studio where we'll have a bit of a did you know while studio session. So feel free to bring your own brush to that because, you know, why not? See you in a minute. So I will say this, being in a sunroom is not all it's cracked up to be because it can play havoc with light. Okay, so we got this bad boy. I have not opened this since I left my old house. So I'm quite excited to see what's in there and to be reacquainted with some of, what's in here. I think these are just right, these are bulldog clips. Okay, so what I would like to do ideally is take this out with me and not be burdened with all this other stuff. I'm just gonna like swatch a couple. I need a brush, don't I? I don't want to take a big sketchbook out with me because I'm taking all your light. This, oh yeah, so that's just stunning. He is a defo. He is an absolute defo. And yeah, we are going to the seaside, but you know, I will find a way to use that. Think seaside, right? So we have this color, which is deep turquoise, which is delicious. I need to watch the light, don't I? Soz. Oh, so that's nice. And those two mixed together, nice. Okay, now we're now, see, dirty them up, right? So we've got a green, we've got a turquoise. This is a Pans Grey, I believe. And beautiful, but I don't think I'm going to take this one because it's a nice sunny day. And I lied, I'm taking it. Okay. Oh, this is going to be shit, isn't it? Right, we need to come up with some, okay, sandy, rocky. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare, guys. It's going to be a bloody nightmare. Right, here we go. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so this one's there. Right, we'll take a little white, which is Naples Light. There we go. What's this one? Oh no, we're not taking this one. We'll take yellow ochre. Okay, now we'll see, you're out of the light again. Bloody nightmare. Right, so we're taking yellow ochre. Take a powder blue. I'm going to take this little green, lime green one there. And we should really have like a harsh blue, maybe a dark blue. Balls in a handbag, just open, for Christ's sake. Oh, okay, yeah, now we're talking turkey. Okay, we've got to take that one as well, haven't we? So I feel we've got enough. Have we? Have we got enough, guys? Pans Grey. Do I want the Pans Grey? So we've got a little yellow. Yeah, yellow. We don't need that one because we've got a white in there. And we'll take you. Cool. Now, do we want a pink though? Why do we need a pink for the beach? That's ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. You're absolutely right. Okay, so we've got that. Let's try and get it in the... There you go. I think that's a cute little set. Is it going to close? No, it's not going to close. Okay, we're going to need to re-establish. So we've got Pans Grey in there. Do I really need a Pans Grey? No, I don't. I don't need a Pans Grey. So we've got that beautiful green I'm obsessed with. We've got lighter green. We've got Windsor blue. We've got deep turquoise. We've got a small white and we've got a yellow ochre. I think that's cute. Okay, that should fit. Does it fit? It does. Yay! Okay, now we need a brush. I think this brush is cute. Oh, actually, wait there. I've got this brush, which is one of my favourites. It's a travel brush. I need more travel brushes. I've got to be very careful when I put it away though. It is stunning, but it's perfect size. Then, so there we go. Got that. Got my little bucket thing. We've got a sponge so that can go together. Take one of them. Now, do we want some pencils? Yeah, I probably could do with some pencils. What I'm going to do is take my nubby pencils. So there you go. And I've got like a little sharpener pouch in there. Sorry about the light today. Well, we're not sorry, because this is the reason why we are going out. I just think we need to learn to adapt. Adapt and overcome, as they say, guys. We're good to go. Sketchbook. We're not good to go. I need a sketchbook. Oh, I haven't done this in so long. I feel like I'm a bit rusty. Right, so we've got some pencils. We've got my paints. We've got that. We've got a bulldog clip. I'll take my A5. I'm really loving this format at the moment. I'm really loving this one at the moment. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's such a reasonable size. You know, you can get a lot more done, I think, on a smaller size. Brilliant. Lightweight. Fantastic. That is good. Right, let's go. I'm here. A bit colder than I thought. But I'm here. I'm gonna go and find a spot and set up shop somewhere. I've got lunch at 1 with some friends. It's gonna be a good day. So I'm just gonna do a couple of quick sketches here. Don't know whether you can see me. And just sit in the sun for a bit. It is cold, but it's not that bad, really. It's not that bad. They need to get those squeezy pots. I've decided, definitely. Also, this is drying quite fast, very fast actually. So, oh, that is a really nice mixing colour though. Oh. The good thing is it's drying fast because I have applied a sugar ton of paint here. So it is it's dried. The good thing is it might dry faster. I didn't bring any separate sketchbooks with me, which is a bit crap. I'm going to put some of this in though, because I can. I'm absolutely delighted with that. I love these marks here and these. I love the layers up here where it kind of goes transparent. Yeah, I'm really happy with this actually. I'm going to leave the top for notes. But I just need this to dry because I'm so out of practice that I forgot to bring another sketchbook so I can continue working. Silly sausage. I'm going to use this paper to continue. It's my own fault, but I really want to capture some seaweed. So I'm just going to get some of this down. I absolutely love this so much. I need to get more. Remind me. I'm also going to pop some of this down. Just sort of mix it a little bit. Oh, go on, you silly tart. I need to get those caps that Missy said. Is it Missy that said them? I need to get those caps. Got a piece of seaweed stuck to my brush. That is a bit of seaweed, you know. Is it? It is. This hasn't really turned into seaweed per se, but what I'm probably going to do is like draw over it. Maybe. Yeah. I'll just draw over it, I think. That is beautiful though. See, the thing is that took me a couple of seconds, and it's so effective. And you're out in the sun, in the sea air. It's beautiful. Doesn't work. Oh, what about this one? Oh, yeah. I should remember to take multiple sketchbooks. Because quite like that one. I'm going to stop there. I'll oh, put a piece of paper in it so it doesn't transfer onto one another. Oh, it's beautiful. Love that one. Oh, The paper's quite saturated now. Oops. And it's falling apart. That is beautiful. The little seaweed. is freezing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up this little seaweed bonanza it's turned out to be. I have a great idea for a Patreon video actually. So I'm going to wrap this up, go get some lunch, and I'll see you back at the studio. I think I have you all in the frame. I've got my A3 Moleskine. I will put it in the description box. I'll need to write it in my notes because Mama's brain is fried. Any and all information that I impart today, I will also pop the links in the description box. I'll reference every source that I have used. I'd love to get this big boy finished, but you know, we've got a while. Oh, memory lane. Cyclops Tater Patch. I love the Cyclops Tater Patch. Anyway, I am going to be using the paints that I had taken with me. I might choose to pop a few more in, more than likely will do. The still I'm actually going to use, the reason I've chosen this one is because I really like the way it kind of swivels round, and I also like the fact that the page is almost cut in half as well, so there's like pebbles on one side and sand and other algae on the other, and I really like that. Whether I do it that way or not, I don't know, but I do have a plan to create that whoosh round. I'm probably gonna have to mix some paint though, and I will be mixing on the page because I just find that it makes for a much better, more interesting spread. So blop. Okay, put a bit of you on. Don't be a silly sausage. See, when you have used these over and over again, what happens is paint can get stuck in the threads then. And now you're in a situation where they don't go on. Right, so that's pretty much a similar green. So I had this idea that I would kind of do this for a second, right? And that I would do kind of, do you know what I mean? Like, do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Don't think that's worked out too well. I know what I tried to achieve and it just didn't do it. That's okay. Made some for some interesting. Right, let's do that then. Okay. I know what I'm trying to achieve. It didn't work out the way I had originally planned. That's okay. Cool. What was I going to talk to you about then? Oh yeah, I was going to take you through some of the beautiful pieces of history that I had discovered whilst trying to figure out a way to use seaweed in a meaningful way. Not that I need a meaningful way to use seaweed. I do, no, actually I lied, I do. The reason I do is because I want to make storytelling part of my, you know, thing, I think. You know, that's kind of why. I need to get some red already. Oh, balls. Let's get some of that in. Cool. I'll just get some red and I'll be back with some of the facts. I just got these. Cool. Just a collection. So I've got red ochre here, which is going to be perfect. Okay, what was I saying? Ah, yes. My rabbit hole that I had gone down basically consists me of kind of Googling a lot and hoping for the best, really. Right, let me put some of this green in whilst I've got the image up, because I'm going to need to, oh yes, see, that's going to change it entirely, isn't it? Okay, right, I'm getting sidetracked again, which is so annoying. Let's start with Mark Dion. Mark Dion, he is mainly an installational artist. So those of you who have seen Mark Dion's work in the flesh, as it were, you might have noticed that it's very indicative of, you know, those historical scenes that you might find, you know, like if you were to do sort of go to a miner's historical village type stuff and you have these kind of curated scenes behind ropes. That's kind of his gig. Mark Dion is renowned for not necessarily having conversations about highly flammable political agendas. He basically researches the shizzle out of it and then will find a way to visually interpret his research so that people may see the result of whatever issue he's talking about. So he will hold a mirror up essentially to the public about whatever he's talking about. Does that make sense? And the way he does that is he will quite often collect objects in a very methodical, very archaeological fashion that you might find scientists with little tubes and test tubes and all that kind of thing, and he will display them in a way that's very authentic to the conversation he's having. And it does, do you know what, I've always loved his work because of his just fascinating ability to just captivate me. I love an ordered space personally. I like things ordered. I find the cabinet of curiosities, that kind of thing, I just find it all so beautiful. Like, I'm renovating my home at the moment, for example, and I'm finding just some stunning things, all of which I will show you all when we do the big final reno video. I did say that I was going to do renovation video as I go along, but it just became a lot, so, and I became very bored with it. And traumatized. Anyway, another bloody tangent as we create seaweed. Oh, that's a nice colour. Get that in there. How do we create that? Was it that? A bit of this, a bit more of that. Oh, a bit of that. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Okay, so this is a quote from Mark Dion. I'm not one of these artists who is spending a lot of time imagining a better ecological future. I'm more of a kind of artist who is holding up a mirror to the present. So that is a perfect quote, in fact, to what I was trying to say in a very laborious and non-understandable fashion. Why are we surprised? Why are we surprised, guys? I'm loving this kind of like lettucey vibe, you know, this kind of, I kind of want to knock some of this back though, actually, so let's get some of this back. So one of the exhibitions that I became really fascinated with, that really pertained to Mark Dion, was called In Pictures, a surprising museum showcase exploring the starring role of seaweed and how it plays in classics works with art and design. Now, I've already mentioned that it played quite heavily in William Morris's prints and some of his patterns and stuff. I should have really known, to be fair, because now I look at it, I was like, yeah, I can see it now. At the time I didn't. It's just one of them, isn't it? And I just wanted to find ways, really, to take my ideas, interpret it in a way I can see the influence of seaweed. Does that make sense? My fascination with it is the fact that it holds on to all this detritus from human life, really, and it's nothing to do like I'm not talking from like an ecological point of view or making like a political statement. For me, it's not so much about that. I just I've always found objects to be really, really interesting. Again, Mark Dion is a great artist if you too love found objects. In this exhibition, you will find an artist called Clement Nye Swift, and it's called Seaweed Gatherers, and it was painted in 1878. Here we go. What's going on here? Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I had other paint on it, and so I was freaking out. Didn't know about this work so much, the Seaweed Gatherers. It was just a piece that I came across whilst I was looking at ways artists have implemented seaweed in their artwork, and this exhibition came up, and it is one of the reasons why I was brought round to Mark Dion again. So this exhibition was also to showcase seaweed's what's the word? What is the word? Versatile, that's the word. Oh my word, my brain is being a right old cow. Yes, so seaweed's very versatile. It does reflect a time, that painting, where seaweed was very much part of the economy during that time. It was very much part of the economy. So it's used for fertilizer, insulation, bedding for livestock. Artists used it a lot, as well as craftspeople. Now, seaweed has its own natural glue. I was looking at actually using seaweed in some pieces, like for inks and things. So a lot of my research came about, and it's brown kelp, so was quite popular to be used in as a colour. But I also found out that seaweed, it has its own glue. It was used a lot in paint. So there was an artist, I think, on YouTube, and she was recreating a type of paint that would have been used for ceilings. It was mixed in with chalk, that was it, to make white, but it was a very unstable material. It was used on ceilings because if it was used on walls, even if you were to knock it ever so slightly, it would come off. It would just come off, and people would wipe it off their ceilings if they fancied a change just with a damp cloth and cold water. It really didn't take much encouragement to come off. One piece that I really was fascinated by was by, oh God, this artist, and it was a fisherman's knit sweater, and it was made in 2022, and it's courtesy of the artist. This particular exhibition in pictures was where I rediscovered Mark Dion. One of his pieces that was implemented in this exhibition was from the Herbium or Herbarium selection, which is the exhibition that I got a bit captivated with. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to get another sketchbook. It's not bad. It's not what I wanted. I think I need to go to a smaller format. Let's go to A4, shall we? Okay, so Herbium. This was Dion's next project with Graphic Studio. Found its inspiration from a fateful event in August 7, 1840 on India Key, southwest of Florida Keys. A Dr. Henry E. Perrine, I think, Perrine. If it's not right, I apologise, but you know what I'm like. Arrived in India Key with his wife Anne and daughters Hester and Sarah and son Henry on Christmas morning 1838. I'm going to do a quick wash, see where that lands us. Perrine became extremely fascinated with marine life, specifically tropical plants, which is where he ended up in this island. So he ended up on the island for the study of algae or seaweed, because there was no one else at the time doing it. He was very much kind of a pioneer in his field at that time. So the boy was hitting new ground quite hard, I'll be honest. He would also collate this in many exhibits with a great amount of labour, and the research promised to be highly beneficial for the common country. So financially, medicine, all that kind of stuff. So it was really, really important. His research was extremely important. He was also creating his own little ecosystem as well. So he was constantly taking specimens and then planting them and everything. So he had been doing this for about 2 years. The island, India Key, was to serve as a safe place to wait out the second Seminole? Oh, balls. This war, Jesus. Taking place on mainland Florida near the location of Perrine's future land grant. So he was going to take his family there when shit died down, essentially. They were going to kind of just set up shop, really, themselves, so that he could be close to his place of research, but also remain in contact with his research base as well, so he wouldn't lose any of the work that he had done. So this was kind of like, right, we're here, we're going to plant shit, it's going to be great, we're going to have the best time. In the early hours of August 7th, 1840, the Perrine family was awoken by the sound of a shot. James Glass, a fellow inhabitant on the island, had discovered a Somali chief and his 200 warriors were walking up the embankment at 2 a.m. This shit won't open, hang on. Perrine hid his family beneath the house in a crawl space assembled through a trap door in the bathroom. Ironically, he did slide a chest filled with his research, specimens, etc. on top of the trapdoor to obviously conceal it. Then made his way upstairs to attempt to reason with whoever had obviously stormed his home. His first attempt at sort of distracting them and trying to calm the situation down did work apparently, but then he fell foul when he started to explain that he was a physician, that he was obviously a doctor, and tried to kind of reason with them that way. So the curator of this particular show at the time, his name is Brad Batelli. He's also a historian at the Florida Keys History and Discovery Foundation, has a theory, and his theory is as follows: that the Somali dudes got to the island's supply of liquor. I think it's Smoles. Oh, so I hate not being able to read. It makes this whole endeavour so bloody difficult and painful for everyone involved, including you guys. When the Somalis returned to Perrine's home after a couple of hours, Perrine was unable to persuade them not to enter. His family could hear the sounds of windows and blinds being broken and basically the whole house being ransacked. The noise continued until the sad news of the death of Dr. Perrine. The chest contained all the work that he had done on the island for the past 2 years, had protected his family from discovery. But now that the Somalis had taken everything they wanted from the house, they proceeded to set the entire place ablaze. Thankfully, they're in the crawl space where the family was, hiding out. There was enough room for them to sort of squeeze down the other side of the crawl space, and there was an opening to the beach where, when the waves come in and everything was filled with sand, it would almost like be a sanctuary for turtles. Some of the family members couldn't actually get through, but the son, the smallest, did get through and went for help. During that period though, it was filling with obviously smoke and it was coming down. So the rest of the family did succeed, and they were met on the beach, and they were able to find a boat that some of these guys had come over on and sort of sail away. They were picked up later, I think, by a fisherman boat or something, and they were obviously saved. But it was quite sad that they had to leave their dad and husband. Sort of, it's just the thought of it actually just makes me feel a bit sick. I don't know about you guys, but it does actually sadden me quite majorly. So Mark Dion, the artist, he responded to this by recreating the way in which Perrine would have preserved his seaweed specimens, and he did call it like the last specimens of Perrine's work. Obviously they were all lost, but it was to sort of identify what was lost. This is kind of what Mark Dion really does, is he really does put a mirror up to the reality of, you know, the actions of others. It just makes you understand then what in fact was lost. There is a video actually on the link, the graphic studio link below in the description box. There is a link, and I think it's like a 15-minute video. I think it's also a 15-minute video on the first link as well, where Mark Dion talks about the work, and he shows some of the work that's gone into it and stuff. So it was really worth a watch. I found the whole thing so interesting, and the fact that seaweed, when you think about it, is in a lot of food, that we even today it's in a food, supplements. Obviously the glue is still used for a multitude of things. It's a huge factor in our ecological balance in the ocean and stuff. And now my dog is drinking her water. Can you hear? I probably didn't, I'll be honest, do any of that justice. For some reason my brain is absolutely just being a silly sausage today, and it's not happening. Do you know that way when sometimes it's not happening? That's how I feel today, which is such a shame. My thing on it though was my need for storytelling is still very much part of that. And what I was able to also do out of this whole thing was create like an artist statement. So an artist statement is basically an artist's way of putting into words what they are, their motivation is about, their work is about. I hate that. What's your work about? I find it such a huge question, but it is an important question, I think, even for the artist. So I did come up with an artist statement, very small, short one. This is my artist statement. My artwork is underpinned by several non-negotiables. The finished piece must reflect a sense of joy and or happiness. I will try and achieve this mostly with the colour and or materials that I use, such as party decorations and glitter. The finished artwork must reflect the way I feel about the world around me. I will do this by reimagining scapes I am surrounded by in both land and sea. Finally, the finished artwork must brace itself between fiction and non-fiction. This, I believe, allows me to tell a story in the most outrageous and fabulous ways imaginable. The way I see it, we can't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Now can we? So yeah, all this seaweed. I've had some creative breakthroughs, I feel. All stemming from a little beach walk. An innocent beach walk. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. I think that what will end up happening is that I will have to go over this with pencil, or I think oil pastels might be quite nice, or maybe a few Neo 2s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these dry, and I'm going to see what we end up with. Okay, I thought I'd come back on. It's the next day. This is dried and it's overworked. It's actually shit, excuse my French. This one I'm really quite happy with as a note. I think the colours in it are beautiful. I don't think it's overworked so much. Some of the shapes I'm not happy with, but as a sketchbook spread, I think it is cohesive enough, and actually I'm happy to keep it as is. This one's overworked. I think that is because, actually, I know why it is because. It is because I was obviously talking about the subject and trying to get it all right in my head. And to tell you, my brain was very fuzzy yesterday on account of I was riding the red dragon. Still am, but less so. And my thoughts are all jumbled, foggy, but you know, we've got a deadline, people. We've got a deadline. So the show must go on, as they say. So I am going to try and save this piece somewhat, kind of, hopefully. And I'm going to cover this half in glitter in the hopes that it would kind of look like the shore is bubbling up. All I'm going to do is palette knife it. I'm just gonna kind of do that, really. It doesn't need to be a perfect cover as I would have done, or I would do on, you know, a canvas or what have you, because it is for my sketchbook, isn't it? So, should have really prepped before, but my brain doesn't work like that. It likes to go the opposite of everything. Now, we just scatter. Can't be really shy about this stuff. You know what I mean? Don't be shy. But I already think this is looking better, personally, in my professional opinion. Right, leave that to cure for a few hours. See what we're left with. It's my favourite bit. I had just filmed, you see the big tip there, didn't you? I just filmed the ending, doing the show and tell and everything, and it was all out of focus because some reason my bitch of a camera decided to switch itself to manual focus and I hadn't realised. It's really not the time for things to happen that's going to infuriate me, which won't be a lot, granted, but it doesn't need to be. I'm all sweaty now because I'm angry. Right, I need to calm down. Okay, I'll show you after the big tip. Again, we've done this already. Balls! I feel like everything today is just gonna annoy me. So I might go out, actually. Here we go. Okay, it's not fabulously perfect, but we get the concept, and that's what it is about this sketchbook work, isn't it? We get the concept that we're trying to evoke for a bigger piece, maybe, potentially, later down the line. You don't know. And that's what this sort of stuff is about in here. I've got something that I feel represents an idea that I have for a more established piece, and that's what this is about. I have to constantly remind myself that sometimes. I do know, but sometimes we get so wrapped up with how sketchbooks should be pretty and well-maintained, even me. And Lord knows that I don't really do that. Here we go. I am, as I said, I did show you this a moment ago, but I am very happy with this piece. I like the colours, the transparency. I feel that this, combined with potentially glitter and some other fabulous stuff, is going to be marvellous. I love the purples and yellows, the colours are just delicious. And although the marks or the shapes, like this one in particular, I'm not really a fan of, like that big long line that kind of envelops everything in. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I really enjoy that. Sorry, I'm looking at another piece on the other side. Mermaid, long story. Anyway, that's us this week done. Thank you for joining me this week. I had hoped for a very different vibe, but on a and I had hoped that I would be a lot more coherent vis-a-vis the whole sort of semi-inspired Did You Know section, but nature called and nature won. I'm finding it very hard to focus, keep on task. I am all of a diva. It might be a shit day, but at least I'm gonna have a shit time in the sun, which makes it a whole lot better. I need to get this edited, it's Thursday, uploaded for you guys, because I'm committed. And then I need to probably do some renovations for tomorrow, because I've got decorating tomorrow. Oh. Okay, love you guys. And I'll speak to you next week. Those of you who are on my Patreon, as both a paid subscriber and a member, which is free to become a member of my Patreon, I will see you, yes, that's right, see you Sunday. To those that have accepted and can attend, obviously. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Love you. Patreon, see you Sunday. See you Sunday evening, and I will speak to you guys later. Bye! Mwah.